Tony, welcome to CWS Journeys.
Thank you very much.
Today I want to start by asking you, what do people who are close to you, how do they usually describe you?
People that are close to me describe me as kind-hearted, loving. You know, I always want to do the best for people around me. Show them, teach them the right things. You know, things that my parents, my mom has instilled upon me to do always the right thing. And one of the things, most of all, I like to tell them about the goodness of God, what He has done for me. So, you know, God has been so good to me that He has blessed me, you know, from Guyana as a child growing up, knowing, you know, I recognize the struggles in life and what I went through as a child, and to be where I am today, I'm very grateful for that. I'm very happy to be in the position that I am in.
Talking about the position, you were, just for our audience, you were born in Guyana and you grew up in a large family. But give us a little bit about your early life. Let's say at ages 9 and then you go to age 16. What was that like for you?
Okay. I was born in Georgetown, Guyana, of 11 brothers and sisters, a large family. And I remember at an early childhood age, life was difficult because we wasn't wealthy. We were struggling in life like everybody else. You know, in Guyana, in those days were a struggle, but we were always happy and contented with the little that we had. Growing up as a child, you know, in the mornings early, you have to wake up early in the morning. You know, help to clean the yard, go bring water, you know, basic things that Guyanese, as you know, that we do as a child. And then get to school and then come home and, you know, routine, look for firewood to cook. And, you know, it was one of those times that you will never forget. It always remained in you. You know, even at this day, I still remember those things.
And age is 16, what do you remember about?
Well, at age 16, from 9 to about at age 14, I left school at an early age because I was one of the oldest boy with my eldest brother. We started working at a very early age. I started working when I was about 14 years old at National Park. And I did a lot of different jobs because we had to, life was tough. My dad used to drink and, you know, when you drink in, when Friday come, there's no, you know, my dad would drink out his pay, and then we, you know, my mother had 11 of us, so it was a struggle for her. She sells at the market. So as an older boy, I left school at an early age, and I had to go to help to support my other siblings. And, you know, that was, I remember, and I was working from then on to this day.
You know, Tony, I want to get into a program you have where you feed and you provide food and assistance to people who can do with the extra help. But starting from such an early age, right? One of the two oldest boys, and having to fill in this space. During that time, what was it like for you? Was there any resentment? How did you feel having to take up the slack?
I don't think it was a resentment because it wasn't of choice.
Mm-hmm.
It was something that we had to do to help to support the family. So it was something that you do with knowing that, listen, this was upon you as an older brother. You have the responsibility to be to help in the family. And you know, back in Guyana, the older brothers or the older sisters are the ones that does not go to school. They stay home and help take care of their younger siblings, and the younger siblings get the opportunity to go to school and further their studies. So as me, it was never resentment of what I went through, and even on to this day, I still love my dad for whatever he has done.
But here you are today, giving back in a major way.
Yeah.
On reflection, you think that this passion you have for helping others, for empowering others, you think it came from during that time watching your parents? What was mom like? What did you observe about mom especially you believe that helped to form this person you know?
Well, one of the things that I really admire is my mom, the hardship that she went through, and she stuck it out, and she taught us, even though the little that we have, we must always share, because there's not a friend or a family or a stranger that could come by my mother's house and they would never, even though we didn't have much, she would always have something to give them. And I learned from that, because from the little we have, we'll give, and we'll always have. And my mom always taught us to be, to always have a good heart and always learn to share with the little that we have. And that's what I learned from my mom. And on to this day, this is what I've learned, and growing up seeing my mother demonstrating that thing. She used to sell at the market, but if somebody come at the market and they don't have food, she'll give them a meal. Somebody doesn't have a little rice, she'll give them some rice, and even though we didn't have much, but she was always had something to give. And as a child growing up seeing that, it enables me to be the man that I am today.
You migrated to the United States. When was that exactly?
I migrated to the United States in 1982.
82?
Yes.
What was it like in those early years for you?
Well, I must say, in the early days when and I think for every immigrant might have a story.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when I migrated in 1982, it was tough because I came in the winter, and it was cold. I didn't have any money, and I had my sister here who I went to and stuff like that. But when I started, it took me like 3 months before I got a job, or 2.5 months. So I was like, yes, and it was really tough. But as I started working, I had a desire, because when you live Ghana, you heard about America is the street that paved with gold, and everything is here, and But when you come, reality hits you, and there's a reality check that you can't get nothing if you don't decide to work hard. And I always purpose in my heart that I would come out of poverty, and I would be somebody, and I don't know how it would have happened, but because of my belief in God, and I prayed and I asked the Lord to show me and give me the wisdom, because coming back from Guyana, 1982, with no skills, no formal education, or say like, you have a college degree or a high school diploma or something like that. And, it was tough, because I started doing as an odds and ends job, I was doing a delivery job. And then, I started saying, look, this can't pay. So I went back to school, I got my high school diploma, and, then I started working in the garment district.
Wow. So here you are, the owner of Four Seasons Manufacturing. How, before you tell us how did that come about? The name Four Seasons, why?
I think Four Seasons because I thought about the 4 seasons that we live in New York. The winter, summer, spring, and fall. So I think like fashion in America is 4 seasons.
Yeah.
And that's how I come about with that name.
How did it get started? How did you get to the point where you decided to become an entrepreneur?
Well, I would say going back all the way back to Guyana. When I start, I'll get back to when I started in Guyana. I used to do trading. After I left the national park, I would start doing trading to Barbados. And I would take, at that time, I used to take shrimps to Barbados, prawns, sell it there, and then I'll take the U.S. and bring it back to Guyana and sell it because the exchange was more. So that's when I always had an entrepreneurship-minded person that one day I would become something. So when I came to America, we used to do that trading. And by the way, that's where I meet my beautiful wife in Barbados. And so when I came to the United States, I was working, and then I landed a job in the garment industry for a fashion designer. And I was doing the shipping, and for them I was doing the shipping. When the garments come in, we'll pack the boxes, ship them to Saks, the Neiman's, the different stores. And so I had an interest in fact. I start liking what I see, and I start observing what they were doing, how they were making the patterns, how they, the cutter was cutting. So I used to stay back after my regular job, and I would help the cutter to cut. And from staying back there, so I learned to become a cutter. And so then I left that job and I went to a different company to work. I worked for a Korean guy, and I was working there for 4 or 5 years. He didn't speak much English, but I was a guy who was like going out and finding the work, dealing with the customers and stuff like this. And one day, I came home to my wife and I said, listen, I want to open a factory. Well, I had some money saved, and I tell her, look. She says, well, we were saving to buy a house because I was living in a 1-bedroom with 3 kids at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I said to my wife, I want to start my business. And she's like,
Our streaming got interrupted a little bit. Hold on a second, Tony.
okay.
Streaming got interrupted. That was the battery cable. Okay, so we're back on. Roger.
Mhm.
We want to.
You listen for critique, my friend? Doing good so far? Tell me if you guys are my friend,
You're doing good so far. Let's stop this and start over. Roger, go online in the chat room and put a message. You can come here if you want to. Or you can find it online and tell them that we're going to start over. What is that? Well, Tony, go ahead.
So as I was saying that, when I started Four Seasons Fashion, it was 1994. But before I started that company, I always thought that, one day that I would be someone that's going to make it in America. Because, you always heard about, America's paved with gold, the streets are paved with gold.
Uh-huh.
But, it's not as you hear it in Guyana. But when you come here, you see the hardship of how to get by. It's not easy, but it's a struggle. But you have to persevere and work hard.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that I learned in my early childhood days with my mom is that nothing pays off if you don't work hard. So I said, I'm going to do this. And so I started working for this company, and I learned everything that I could learn, as much as I could learn at that point there. Then I left there and I went to work for another company who was a factory owner, Korean guy, didn't speak much English. And, so I worked there for like 4 or 5 years, and I said to myself, you know what, one day I came up to my wife and said, I'm going to open a factory.
Just like that?
Yeah, I said, I'm going to open a factory. And she said to me, Are you crazy? And I said, yes. Um, so the little money that we had saved, I, I, I said to her, I'm going to take that money and I'm going to open a factory. And she says, well, you saving this money to buy a house. We live in this one bedroom with these three kids. The children are getting older. We need to get a home. And I says, don't worry about it. When I open that business, you'll get the best house, and your house is going to be paid for. So you don't have to worry about it. But I was stepping out in faith too, and I had the confidence in myself that it would have worked, because I was running this guy business and I could see the revenues. I was going out there, I was bringing in the work, and then but prior to that, I didn't have any sewing skills. But I met a wonderful woman who was the manager there, and I spoke to her, and I said, her name is Koo. I said, Miss Koo, would you come and work for me? And she says, yeah, Tony, I'll give you 5 years of my time. And we started a little company with 10 machines, and within a year we grew from 10 to about 30 machines. So we moved from a little 2,500 square feet to a 10,000 square feet space, which we still operating out today. So when you look back to those 20 odd years that were what I did, I mean, it wasn't easy. I had my struggles. I had times the first time when I paid everybody, I went home with nothing. I couldn't probably even buy a bagel to eat because everybody was getting paid, but I didn't have enough money.
Before you continue, and I would like you to give us a few of the earlier challenges you had. But for young entrepreneurs that are listening to you tonight, how important is that to ensure that your employees get paid? Because that was a major sacrifice for you. You stayed without.
Yes.
So that the employees got paid. Give us a little talk about that for the young entrepreneurs that are listening.
I think in any business, the key, I always say that in any business, the key is to make the people that work for you happy. Because when I was working for somebody, I want them to make me happy. I want them to make me feel comfortable. And I remember working for my friend, the Korean guy, for like 2 or 3 weeks he would not pay us. And all the workers were very disgruntled, and they're not happy, they're not producing enough. And I learned from that. I said, you know what? If ever I own a business, I don't want my people and for the never to have their pay or say, I owe you, I don't have money this week.
Yeah.
Because I remember I'll give you one story that I went to the Department of Labor because a company didn't pay us. And I went to the Department of Labor for them. And we had a seminar, and the guy says, listen, if you don't have a net, why would you go out fishing? So he's saying, because we didn't pay I was complaining to him, if this company don't pay us, we can't pay our workers. But, he says, if you don't have a net, why are you going fishing? So I learned from that. That teach me a lesson that my employees are the key to the factory. If they don't produce, I don't have an income coming in. And if I don't take care of them, how would they produce? So I always, for the 20 odd years that I have the business, I never one Thursday, never pay them. And I can vouch for that, and my workers can vouch for them, and I think that I treat them like I wanted to be treated when I was working for someone.
What have you learned? What have you learned about yourself in the last 20 years? What can you tell us that it's something that you have learned about Tony in the last 20 years?
I learned about myself that to be truthful to myself, to be honest. Integrity is important. Your word is your bond. And if I can give somebody my word and never go back on it, that means that I have done a lot. Because in this industry that I work in, I have seen a lot of shady business. And I have been in this industry for a long time ago, for a very long time. And, some of my friends would say that I'm the mayor of the garment center because everybody knows me. And I have a relationship with people, and I'm honest. If I can't do something, I'll tell them up front that I can't get it done. I can't do it.
Have you ever had some unreasonable timelines to
Well, in this industry, there's always unreasonable timelines, and you have to work hard. And if you give your word to somebody, you have to go out. And I told my staff, I said, listen, there is only two things we have in this industry that we can do better than anybody else. Because if we can't do that, then we're no use in the industry. It's timing and quality.
when did you realize during this journey? When did you realize that you were good? You had it. You were you could look at your work, you could look at the whole process, and be satisfied, or even partially satisfied, and look,
Well,
I'm good at what I do.
Well, when I started in the industry, I started working for factories, was doing high-end garments.
Mhm.
So as I started looking at the high-end garments, I had an eye for high-end garments. Sometimes I would go in the store with my daughter them at the mall, and we were shopping, and I always look at the garment to see how it's made. And my daughter's like that. You're always looking for thread hanging. You're always looking for this, because that's something that I was training up to do. And over the years, I've seen, even the other day, my son-in-law is saying, all these knowledge that you have and you're giving to people, and you're always, consulting for them freely, you should charging for this. But it's a part of the service that I do, a part of my job. So if I see something is not right, I would go to them and say, listen, don't put this fusible in this press because it's going to be too stiff, or don't do this or do that, because I've seen over the years, and I realized that over the years, and it didn't come like naturally. I had to grow into it. It takes time to develop these kinds of skills. I had one production guy from Polo used to come in the factory, and he would look at the saw, and if he'd seen that the saw is supposed to be sewing at a half-inch seam allowance, and they're taking 3/8, he'll stop you right away without taking a tape measure and say, listen, stop. You're supposed to be taking half-inch seam allowance. Why are you taking 3/8? So I have that eye for that. So I can walk through the factory and see if somebody's sewing it. If they're supposed to take a quarter seam allowance, I know that if they're taking, it's too big or it's too small. Because in our business, a 16th of an inch is very important.
No, this might be an unfair question to you, Tony, because I know you come with a whole reservoir of skill sets. What do you believe is your greatest asset in this particular industry? Apart from relationships and so on, I'm talking in terms of skills. What is one thing you believe you rely on a lot?
One of the things that I think that I rely on, for the years, I would say that my referrals that people give to me because of my stand, my integrity, my deliveries, the things that I do best, I always make sure that my client is always happy. And if I make them happy, they'll always come back. And that's the reason why I could tell a client today, I can't do your work today, but they'll come back tomorrow to me, because they know that when they give it to me, that I'm going to give them a good product, beautifully made, because that's one of the things that we are proud ourselves on, that giving beautiful garments.
They say a ship or any manufacturing plant is as good as its employees.
Yes.
Right? How did you get your staff to get to this point where you're confident in their skills, but more importantly, you're confident in their integrity, not so much that not integrity in the sense of them stealing something or being dishonest, but integrity in terms of how they approach their work. How did you get to that point? How did you get them to that point?
I think it's all by examples. If you come into my shop, you would never see me in the office sitting down.
No?
No, you would not. You would see me working evenly with them. If the presser is not there, I'll open the seams. If the floor girl is not there, I'll clip the threads. If the bathroom is dirty, I'll clean it. And because you as the owner doing these things, people see that, look, if my boss can do this, or my boss can clean the floor or sweep the floor or pick up the paper from the floor, why would I pass a piece of paper on the floor? If my boss is going to pass and pick it up. So I lead by examples.
Tony, what particular skill sets a potential employee will have to have for you to hire them?
I think with the kind of workmanship that we need to do, I can see it from the time I put an operator on the machine. I can tell you right there and then, the way she pulls the chair to sit on, I can tell you that if she knows to sew.
Really?
Just by the way she sits on the machine, or the way she touches the machine, I can say, yes, this woman can sew, or no, she can't.
You're a manager, you're an owner, which makes it even more demanding.
Yes.
That you and more important that you have a good set of people skills and management skills. Are you a tough boss?
No, I'm not.
You're a good manager.
I would say that I'm not a tough boss, but I'm a good. I can get things done by the way you speak to people.
Yeah.
See, I'm in this industry and I learn from people. I learn from other people. One of my friends have a huge factory like myself, but the way he speaks to his employee, the way he speaks to them, they don't want to work there. They're there because they have to get a salary. The people that work for me, they want to be there because I treat them like family. I treat them the way that I want to be treated. And that's important, because if I treat somebody the way they want to be treated, the way I feel that I should be treated, the same way I feel that they should be treated. If they have a need, they can come to me. I'll help them out.
Is this a 24-hour operation?
No, it's not a 24 hours.
What happens when you have an unreasonable demand? A time sensitive, that is obvious in your industry.
Yes.
What happens? Do you ever bring your staff in to work weekends, to work overtime?
We work overtime.
Oh, you work overtime?
Yes. The only time we work on weekends during Fashion Week, because we have to get the samples out for the show. So it's a must, and they know that.
So here you are, this very courageous entrepreneur. You told your wife, we're going to do this. I want to start this factory.
Yeah.
Stepped out on faith.
Yeah.
You got your first big paycheck, right? Well, no, I mean you might have gotten smaller.
Yeah.
Let's see, one. All right, let me phrase the question this way. What was it like for you when you received your first check? Do you remember the feeling?
Yes, I do remember the feelings. The first check I got, I took it and I lifted it up onto the Lord, and I said, Father, I thank you for this, because without you, I could have never done this. So I give God praise first, and then I went and I got the pay the people. But I thank the Lord for it.
Yes.
So it's one of those things, and sometimes I told my wife, when we go on vacations and stuff like that, we were in Rome one time, and I said to her, we were lying in a hotel room, and I said to her, I never dreamed that this little coolie boy from Guyana would have ever been in this place. Because for me it's an accomplishment.
Yes.
And even that I can afford to do it is an accomplishment. So my hard work.
I want to take a break after this question, Tony, but I have to ask you this. What was one of the hardest thing or the most challenging thing or the biggest challenge you overcame as a businessman?
The biggest challenge I overcame is fear, because when anytime you go into a business venture, a lot of times people are fearful. They fear that they lose their money, the money that they're going to invest. They wouldn't do it. It might be successful, but I overcame fear because when I told my wife I'm just going to do this, I didn't just say, well, we're going to do this. I prayed about it, and I asked the Lord to give me that peace, and I felt in my heart that, I'll be successful, because I didn't go it in by myself. I asked the Lord to lead me and direct me. And I think my faith helps me to be where I am today.
Thank you, Tony. Let's take a break.
That was good. There's a lot of